Hi, this is Jindo. Welcome to Tree Leaf. Sometimes giving these Dharma talks and being a Dharma teacher is kind of like being a musician. We, lay down a track and think that maybe it needed a little more bass, a little less guitar. And this case too, the talk I gave a few days ago, there's something in it that I want to emphasize a bit more, so I'm going to redo it today. Not that there's ever anything lacking, but there's something in the sound I just want to bring out. I was talking about all the horrors that are in the news these days. That poor child in China. My wife and I are adopting a little baby. We're heading off to China just in a few weeks. And to see that 2-year-old just lying there, people walking by, no one willing to lend a hand, it broke our hearts. I literally became sick to my stomach. I was just inconsolable to see that. When it comes to children, our hearts can be broken. And that story from Philadelphia too, people treated like dogs, worse than dogs. We don't treat animals that way. And what I emphasized in the last talk was that our hearts are broken. We see the ugliness in this world. But yet, even that drops off into emptiness, where there are no little children to be abused, no possible harm that can be done. I know it's hard to fathom, but nothing lacking, all complete, just this great dance of emptiness. As I said, sometimes people do cruelty to people. Nature does cruelty, or what to our hearts seems like something cruel, like the tsunami came and swept away thousands of people. The wave was just doing its thing, but to our heart, it's so unbelievably tragic. From the perspective of emptiness, the tsunami just goes back into the sea. It's just another wave, like you and I are waves that rise up and go back into the sea. Even the tsunami just rises up and goes back into the sea. So, yes, even the great tragedies, cruelties in the news, the wars, the hunger, the ugliness, all of it somehow comes together in emptiness, this great peace that holds all the broken pieces. I call it the peace of one piece that holds all the many pieces, even the sharp-edged and jagged pieces. It's a kind of beauty that sweeps in all human judgments of the beautiful and the ugly. You hear me talking about this all through our talks on the Shin Shin Ming, and it holds even the greatest ugliness. But what I wanted to emphasize more in the last talk is that if you just leave it there, it does seem cold. As if we're saying, oh, the child's lying there, it's kind of just a dream, don't worry about it. It fades away into emptiness. The people who were abused, and the abusers too, so filled with anger and ignorance, don't worry about it. They're just people who can't see this wholeness of emptiness. And that's true. That's true. The people who did that cruelty in Philadelphia did it because they're not whole people. There's something lacking inside them. There's some anger, some greed. They were stealing money from these people. That's why they did this. They could not see the other as themselves. They saw the other people as objects, and they treated them like objects. The people who walked by the little child, I've read stories that said, China, big cities anywhere, not just China, but The competition is so hard these days. Dog-eat-dog world. People just see their own life, their own troubles, and they don't want to get involved, so they walk by the little child and they don't see. This is also something lacking. We're not aware of the deep interconnection. But what I wanted to bring out more in this talk actually is very similar to a concept from Kabbalah, Jewish Kabbalah, or Kabbalah, I think you should pronounce it actually, which is of tikkun, fixing the broken vessel. You see, when we see this wholeness, this great dance, the great sea that takes in the tsunami, the great beauty that holds even the greatest ugliness, it makes us want to fix this world. If we just see wisdom without compassion, this practice can be cold and lack heart. But when we see the deep interconnection, when we see the potential for what this world can be, when we see people suffering, our heart reaches out and we want to fix the broken vessel. The concept of tikkun, as I understand it, is that universe is, reality is kind of God, if you want to say, Buddha. It's kind of like this great pottery vessel, like a vase that has been smashed into pieces. These separate pieces are, one piece is you, one piece is me, one piece is the other thing, ugly pieces, sharp pieces, round pieces, all these broken pieces. And our practice wants to bring it all together back into wholeness, to fix what's wrong with this world, to save all the sentient beings, to help the little child and the people in need of help, even to teach the people who did cruelty to open their hearts, to let go of the anger and the whatever is ailing them, and for them too to find a good path. The concept of saving all sentient beings we were talking about this week has kind of two flavors. One flavor is to teach people that yes, there is this beautiful view of wholeness where there is no you and no me, and a beauty that holds beauty and ugliness, and a goodness that holds goodness and badness, to teach people that. But the other one is saving all sentient beings by getting down into the trenches, cleaning up the damage from the tsunami, or lending a hand to the suffering child, to teach the person who's filled with anger not to be cruel, not to be filled with anger. We want to fix this vessel. This practice not only drops it all into emptiness, it's not like it all drops away and we can forget about it. Quite the contrary, what results is from this vision of emptiness is also a vision of wholeness, that we wish to see again all the broken pieces of the vessel fixed, prepared. A world where children do not suffer, a world where there is no violence. If you only have the one view of emptiness, you're missing the heart of compassion and loving kindness. That's what I wanted to bring out just a little more. And speaking of a good heart, before we sit, I just want to say there's a person named Leah who almost every time I've given a talk here for a few years always sends a little thank you. Just a little thank you. And I want to say to Leah, thank you. I have tried to send you messages a few times just to say to you thank you, and for some reason I can't get the messages through. You watch on YouTube, come to Tree Leaf sometime and say hi, join in, and there's also some other things there. But I just wanted to say, Leah, thank you. Okay? Shall we sit with that?